Hello and welcome to Broken Entertainment. So today we're going to talk about Batwoman Season 2's premiere episode, its complete ratings disaster, and the fact that we all deserve better. So, before we get into the ratings, I want to get into the why of the ratings. Season 1 of Batwoman started out at a little over 1 million viewers, which for the CW is pretty good. By the end of the show, it sat around 6.4 million, not million, sorry. It sat around 640,000. And then the final episode jumped up a little bit to 700 and something thousand. And you can pretty much trace where it happens. If you go through the episode list and you go through what's going on and you watch the ratings, they all tank. I mean, they start to go down from the beginning, right? It's a poorly written show. It's not very interesting. It has a lot of usual CW drama crap, but the people watching it are CW people anyway at that point. And what happens? They have an episode that's all about Kate Kane coming out and saying she's a lesbian because people believe that she is dating this guy. It's the moment that the show goes from a little bit of identity politics to a hard pivot. And when you watch that show, and you watch the ratings, and you start to realize that everybody is either related or knows each other, and I think virtually every woman on the show is a lesbian, it begins to get a little strange, because they're just kind of shoving this agenda down your throat, instead of just saying, yeah, this character is a lesbian as part of who she is. They make it her sole identity as a character. And they're going to do the same exact thing with the character in Season 2. Ryan Wilder. So if you don't know, the woman who played Kate Kane, Ruby Rose, left the show after the first season, probably because of the crappy writing and the bad ratings and the fact that she got severely hurt while recording because she weighs like 90 pounds and they're asking her to do stuff that she shouldn't be doing. So we have this on Bounding into Comics on Season 2. The CW's Batwoman showrunner, Caroline Dries, recently confirmed the upcoming second season of the show will be about race politics, while clarifying Ryan Wilder's relationship with drugs and how the storyline will be explored in the second season of the show. Do you want to watch a show about race politics? I don't want to watch a show about race politics. Not that there is no place for racial politics coming up. Not that a character of a minority can't struggle from time to time in the show because of their race. There are shows, and we're going to get into that have done that, and done it very well, and maintained a strong audience. This show isn't one of them, and it's, instead of saying, this is something people go through, they're saying, this is the identifying mark of the character. So, originally, when they described Wilder, she was described as likable, messy, a little goofy, and untamed. She's also nothing like Kate Kane, the woman who wore the batsuit before. With no one in her life to keep her on track, Ryan spent years as a drug runner, dodging the GCPD and masking her pain with bad habits. Okay, so this was, let's see, when did this come out? Sometime last year. I believe before most of the riots. Not 100% on that, but I think you'll see a correlation. Then we're on detail. Today, Ryan lives in her van with her plant. This is a very strange fixation they have. A girl who would steal milk for an alley cat and could also kill you with her bare hands. She's the most dangerous type of fighter, highly skilled and wildly undisciplined. She is an out lesbian, athletic, raw, passionate, fallible. So here they're focusing on her sexuality in the early description. And again, this is not a description of a character. This is a description of an identity. Okay, so if you go back up here, this begins a description of a character, someone who has a hard life and has turned into a drug runner and has been dodging the GCPD. That's beginning to describe a character. But when you start to say weird stuff like lives with her plant and kill you with her bare hands and the most dangerous type of fighter, highly skilled and wildly undisciplined, those two things, first of all, aren't a thing. You cannot be a highly skilled fighter and be wildly undisciplined. If I were going to write a character like this, lesbian would not be in the description. Because it would just be the character. The character would exist in the show, and they'd have a girlfriend. And that would be it. Because that's how, since they want to normalize something, that's how you do it. You just make it part of their life and nobody says anything. And then if you want to deal with some issues within that, you can later on. But throwing it in the description like that tells you that's something they want to focus on. But in this incarnation, she's a drug dealer. Now, all of a sudden, after the riots, they come out and say, oh, no. Ryan never used drugs. She was in a relationship where somebody was using drugs, and it's what got her put away in jail. And the show will address race politics, so it's this idea that Ryan is this innocent woman, and if she were white, she might not have had the same punishment she, as an innocent black woman, had to go through. It's a huge piece of her backstory, so it's something we're exploring this year. First, she's a drug runner and a lesbian. Racial issues happen. Now she's perfectly innocent, but because she's black, she got thrown in jail. So she has this particular vendetta against False Face Society because of the idea of drugs permeating the city and nobody taking responsibility, blah, blah, blah. Talks about the villains and this fake drug they made up. Here it is again. A sassy, smart lesbian. Lesbian is just a sexuality. It is not the sole identity of a person. People are all sorts of things put together. Their sexuality is a piece of who somebody is, but there are other things. Ryan sees a suit as her chance to finally be powerful and no longer be a victim. Heroes do not see heroics as an opportunity to be powerful. That's a villain. And it goes on and just talk about the show. But here's the thing. They're making this about race. And gender. Sorry, not gender. Sexual identity. We deserve better than this. CW fans deserve better than this. These two identifying groups deserve better than this. They're taking complex people and reducing them to a label. Lesbian, black, woman. And they say it over and over and over again. They don't care about the person as a character or a person. They only care about identity. Now, racial issues can be handled in a show like this, and there's no reason they should completely avoid it, because there is a core of a solid idea in there. The problem is the way it's being approached. They're making that the driving force of the character. They're making that the driving force of the season. So it's going to be this hammer you over the head, lecture you over and over again, and it's going to turn more and more people away. Just like it did last season. Now, a great example of a show that handled this very, very well is The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. They had a multitude of episodes that dealt with race and identity in its own way. It kept a large audience. It was very popular. It was a very funny show. But they never made, while race might have been involved in an episode, they never made it the only thing that mattered. Which is what Batwoman is doing. In The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the episode that always comes to mind for me is Mistaken Identity. Will and Carlton get pulled over because they're driving BMW in a strange neighborhood very slowly. The cops believe they're car thieves. They take them in. Hijinks ensue. But it's made very clear they're taken in because they're black. And they're driving a fancy car at night in a strange neighborhood where the cops don't know them. It is absolutely and poignantly about racism and policing, but not every police officer, not every white person in the episode is bad. And when the episode ends, the show moves on, and the characters have had this come up, and Carlton, who is very rich, lives in Bel-Air, has his worldview shaken because he never believed that was a thing. That's how people respond to things. They're complex. A person who is black is a person first. The color of their skin and the culture they come from is merely a component of who they are. And that can inform things, but it isn't the only thing. And that's the problem with Batwoman, is it's the only thing. She's black and a lesbian. Nothing else matters. Everybody watching entertainment deserves more than this. They deserve the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air approach. This could be a fantastic story within a greater season of Batwoman if the authors would step back and instead of trying to drive home a message for an entire year, and instead of viewing the person only as their skin color, if they would view them instead as this complex character who, yes, sometimes has to deal with stuff they wouldn't because they're black. Or has to deal with stuff they wouldn't because they're lesbian. But the majority of the show should be about this character doing awesome things as a hero. And it should be about their complexity as a person. The reason Batman is popular is because he's a very complex person. You can think of things to describe him. He's rich. He's intelligent. He struggles with what happened with his family. He struggles with trying to bring Gotham back around to the city he believes it can be. But if you take away Rich, he's still Batman. If you take away these superficial qualities, he's still Batman. But when all you focus on is skin color and sexual identity, you don't have a character at all. And that's why, let's look at the ratings. This is from the season premiere. So if anyone was going to watch a lot of this show and tune in and see what it's all about, it would be the season premiere. And you'd think they would because there's a new person playing the role, and you'd want to know, okay, how did this happen? Where's the character that was in season 1? How do they explain this? 0.66 million viewers, so 660,000 viewers. 0.1 of the 18 to 49 demographic. And if you look at the other shows, we're going to ignore the playoffs. Let's look at the other shows that are on. 60 Minutes, 10.24 million viewers. America's funniest home videos. This has been on the air for years. 4 million viewers. The Weakest Link, a rerun of a show that hasn't been on making new shows in like a decade. 1.43 million viewers. NCI Los Angeles, been on the air forever. 5.38 million viewers. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Again, how long has this been? 2.69 million viewers. The Wall, which is a goofy adventure-y kind of not talk show, but game show. And it's a rerun. 1.46 million viewers and 0.3 in the 18 to 49 demographic. NCIS New Orleans. It's been on a while. 4.94 million viewers. Card Sharks, never even heard of it. 1.88 million viewers. American Ninja Warrior All-Star Skills rerun. 1.26 million viewers. And here's the only show it beat. All American Stories on the CW. Rerun. 0.18. And somehow they manage a 0.0. The Great North, Fox, 2.6, 8.42 million viewers. The Rookie, ABC, 3.61 million viewers. NCIS has been on for like 20 years. Rerun, 3.45 million viewers. Why? Why are they losing to reruns of game shows and not even being close? Because it's all identity all the time, and the characters aren't people. They're political agendas. We deserve more than this. Viewers deserve more than this. And quite frankly, the topic they're trying to address deserves more than this. Unfortunately, that's what we get. Because it's CW and they don't have anyone that can write their way out of a wet paper bag with a typewriter. So if you liked the video, please hit the like button. Consider subscribing to the channel if you aren't. And I will see you next time.